And welcome inside the Backstage Pass. Another brand new week of shows came at you. Took yesterday off to take a little bit of a breather, but back at you here today. Hard to believe it's almost the end of August. There's like, a week and a half left of the month. I feel like we just started a new month here on the Backstage Pass, again, powered by the Sports Guys podcast.com and presented by our friends over at Bangtail Whiskey and Honky Tonk, Texas. You can catch us out there on internet radio at hightidecountry.net. Pleased to welcome in back one of my show favorites, a country superstar in the making. She is rising faster than an elevator, I guess, or a skyscraper, whatever adjective you want to use out there. Our good friend Halle Kearns back to the show. Halle, what's up?
What's up? Thank you so much for having me back again.
Well, it's always good. You're a show favorite, just like many others out there too. Well, let's start with this great single, because it seemed like single after single the last few years. You guys have been busy putting out some fantastic music, and it goes along with these music videos. Kind of hand in hand. Let's talk about Like Her, because the single came out back at the first part of May, and it's already doing some amazing things for you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I really wanted to release a song for Mother's Day weekend coming up. My mom and I have gotten super, super close over the last few years, and I really wanted just a song to honor her and say thank you for everything that our relationship is. And, as you get older, you kind of realize you're more and more like your parents than you ever thought. So I wanted a song that kind of just acknowledged that and thanked her for it. So I put that one out right before Mother's Day.
It's a fantastic song. Love it.
Thank
Available
you.
for streaming out there too. Let's talk about CMA Fest, the 50th anniversary. Hard to believe I'm saying that here. You were busy playing a multitude of stages out there.
Yes.
I mean, crowds. So we actually went out there. Kirsty did, and got some good footage of one of your performances. We posted on our social media accounts out there at the Backstage Pass. Tell us all about that. And the performing was unlike any other CMA Fest that you'd been a part of.
It's incredible. It's only the second one I've ever played, actually, which was, it's always an honor. It's always going to be an honor, no matter how many I play. I could play 50 myself, and it would still be, it's just crazy. So, I played, I think it was 4 shows or 5 different performances in a 3-day span.
Mm-hmm.
The amount of outfit changes and running back and forth in the heat, in the Nashville June heat. It's just so fun. The whole town's so electric at that time, and there's country fans coming from all over the world, not just the country, just to gather and celebrate here in Nashville, all the legacy of country music. And it's so cool, and I can't even believe that I get to be a part of that, and I get to play a little tiny piece of the 50th, It's really special.
Pretty crazy there too. Talk about just your growth. I mean, since bursting on the scene, you and I met in 2020. I started this show in 2019. Kirsty came on about 2020 as well, and just the growth we've seen you go through as an artist in a good way. It's amazing, like this global sensation of TikTok views and these great songs that have come out, and a lot of it, I'm sure, credited to the fan base out there that you have. But talk about your growth as an artist over the last 3 years.
Yeah, thank you so much for saying that, first of all. It's always the fans, it's always the listeners and the people coming to the concerts. For anything else, the people supporting, like y'all, that's what makes it grow. If people aren't listening to it and aren't loving it, then nothing goes anywhere. So I'm super, super grateful for that. It's been a whirlwind of a couple years since we last chatted, for sure. And you said 3 years, and I'm like, there's no way it's been that long, but it also feels like it's been, 15 at the same time. But I think that's just life. When you're kind of living in your purpose, it just feels like you're breezing through it, and also it's just every single day feels like a dream. So it's hard work like anything else, and it takes a lot of time and there's a lot of pressure, but at the same time I know I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be.
No doubt about that, and going places, going a lot further too as well. How did you keep focused? Because a lot of us had to do different things, and kind of get through this pandemic, and of course before, during, and after it, come out of it, I guess stronger than we went into something like this, because nobody anticipated the world kind of being turned upside down. You guys continued to release music through this and put out very successful singles and really some EPs. Talk about just pulling yourself through that and staying focused on your career.
Yeah, for sure. I had every intention of releasing my first project middle of 2020, and obviously I had no idea anything was going to go down the way it did come March. And we just decided that it's been too long in the making already. I had already been pursuing music for about 4 years at the time, full time, and I wasn't going to delay any longer. I waited for a few months, and I had no idea what the world was going to look like, and all I know is that music's been that anchor for me, that thing that's pulled me through any and every situation I've ever been through. So if people are struggling right now, there's not a better time to release music that it hopefully will just either help people just kind of forget for a moment and release some of that energy, or if it's something that'll make them kind of reflective. Whatever that is, it's just people need music, I think, then and now more than ever. So there was no reason that I saw to delay or, prolong that release process.
Well, and I'll tell you, 2021, when it really started to kind of having that 1 year kind of feel, we knew we were kind of locked up. We couldn't do very much. But July of that summer, it started with July of 2021. This song called Nothing Left comes out, and it really starts to really do a lot of cool things for charts and streams and things like this. This one is very special for you, right?
It is. It is for sure. Yeah.
Talk about just the writing and the message. And I love I always look at artwork cover and things like that too. You think it's like beautiful sky background, blue background too as well. And it's really cool because I feel a lot of the emotional side of you when you do sing, and this song brings out a very kind of soft, very genuine, very emotional side. Would you agree?
Yes. Thank you so much for saying that. It's a hard one for me still. I knew this EP was going to be about a lot of different stages of my life that reflected on milestone kind of either mindsets or moments that have shaped me into who I am now and who I'm continuing to grow into be. But I did not know what that song was going to say yet whenever we were kind of filling in those blanks. I knew I needed a song about kind of that reflective coming into oneself. I feel like I'm constantly living for this, filter of die to yourself and be everything everyone wants you to be, not because it's the selfless thing to do, but because it's what's expected of you. And it got to a really unhealthy place, and I brought it to a couple co-writers, and I was like, I just know I need a song about this. And it was so healing. There's so much there's just so much relief that comes from being able to write those lyrics down and being able to be that truthful with yourself and then with a couple other people in the room too, and then sharing it and having it received the way it was you just can't explain it. It's so beautiful, and it just shows the power of music in the way that you can feel so alone in something and so weird for feeling a certain way about whatever, and turns out there's millions of other people out there who are feeling exactly like you or have at one point in their life.
Yeah, you put out another great song called Happy in This Bar in that same year, 2021. That writing of that one, fantastic. One of the best country songs I'd ever heard. Hit the scene out there when it came down to it. How did this one originate? Because some of the lyrics and kind of the interesting story of that one.
Yeah, it's the same kind of thing where I was definitely in a crowd where I was just going out a lot and partying and trying to keep up with. It was right when I moved to Nashville. I was really trying to just be someone I wasn't, and there's nothing wrong with any of those things. But for me personally, I was just trying really hard to fit in with a group of people that just are not exactly, I don't know, it wasn't really even the people necessarily. I guess it was just more about my heart and where I just felt so empty inside. Yet I'm the girl out at the bar smiling and laughing and having a good time, looking like I'm just thriving out there. But at the end of the day, I was really just miserable, and I felt so far from knowing myself. And that song was kind of just this reflection of yeah, I'm gonna continue being happy in this bar, but the reality is that I am really, really struggling right now, and no one can see it, and everyone would think from the highlight reel, from this side of me, everything's going great, but it just shows there's pain behind smiles sometimes.
Yeah, and it's a credit to your honest, very sincere, very genuine songwriting and the people you're working with in your camp to put out this fantastic music too. It's garnered over 6.6 million global streams, which is off the chain, and I'm sure that number's gone up since the EP. Finally, we're going to come back and actually talk about that EP finally, which was picked up by a lot of those editorial playlists here on the Backstage Pass here. Again, powered by the Sports Guys podcast.com. Don't forget, next week, high school football starts up again. Yours truly will be busy. We're at the website and, of course, at CajunCountryRadio.com, presented by our friends at Bangtail Whiskey. And, of course, over there at Honky Tonk, Texas, you can check out HalleKearns.com for more information on shows coming to a city near you, and go download the new single across all those digital platforms like her. More with Callie here on the Backstage Pass here. Hang tight. Coming right back at HighTideCountry.net. And, of course, we're live on Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook out there. Hang tight. Coming right back. A word from our friends at Bangtail Whiskey.
The Bangtail pour is comprised of a sweet corn mash base. The front has a subtle sweetness and not too sharp. It has notes of a medium char or white oak for a smoky flavor in the middle. And the tail has a super smooth and warm finish.
Go behind the scenes with some of the biggest artists in music today with the Backstage Pass, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. Join Brandon Morrill and his co-host Kirsty Krause as they talk to rising stars and legends about their music careers. Listen to their latest tracks and learn fun facts about the men and women behind the music you love. And be sure to tune into the Backstage Pass Monday through Friday from 3:30 to 6:30, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. And welcome into the Backstage Pass. And back here on the show, Halle Kearns joining us here on the Backstage Pass. It almost is a TGIF version coming up this weekend. Tomorrow, friends, the South Austin Moonlighters will join us here on the show. And next week, some great shows. Be on the lookout for that. And coming up here in a couple of weeks, Heath Wright with the band Ricochet here on the Backstage Pass, actually putting out a new album tomorrow, along with our good friend Randall King with some new singles coming up tomorrow. He said one wasn't enough. We'll just go ahead and do two coming up tomorrow for his fan base out here too. Back here with Halle on the show, presented by Bangtail Whiskey and of course our friends at Honky Tonk Texas. You know, before I went to break, I talked a lot about Finally and how much it was picked up by those editorial playlists, and of course you had so many cool things come off of this, so many great things that did for your career. Remind the audience a little bit, and maybe some who haven't heard that particular EP. That was a very cool and honest forthcoming breakout moment for your career.
Yeah, that was a wild ride. I released my first single in July of 2020. It was called Pick Me Up. And it was kind of just a little intro into what the taste of what you're going to get. And we just released one single every, I think it was like 6 or 8 weeks, something like that, every couple months. And into December, I released my first EP on my birthday, December 11th, 2020. And I called it Finally just because it was a long time coming for me personally. I decided at 16 that this is what I wanted to do with the rest of my life, and I skipped college and started playing shows all over the place, so it just made sense when I finally put music out for the first time to title it Finally. And the songs were super well received. Each song kind of worked its way up of different Spotify playlists and Apple playlists and that kind of thing. Everyone who was supportive, and I got to meet y'all for the first time and chat it up and talk through the journey. And then over time, Whatever You Do was one of the last 2 singles released on that EP in December. And I think it started out on New Boots on Spotify, and then worked its way up to Wild Country, and then eventually it landed on Hot Country. And very soon after that, SiriusXM picked it up and put it on the highway, and lasted like 13 weeks or something like that, which was amazing. And it was quite the ride, quite the intro into what my country music journey would be like.
Yeah, I remember driving along that highway and hearing on the highway there too. SiriusXM, I was like, so cool. There's our good friend Halle Kearns with a beautiful song, Whatever You Do too. Yeah, that's pretty amazing when you get to hear yourself on the up and coming country station for all the up and coming artists. How did that make you? I mean, just the emotions that kind of came out.
So surreal, honestly. Like, I don't know. It's that imposter syndrome that sets in a little bit. You're like, okay, cool. Like yes, I'm looking at the radio. I can see that my name is scrolling across the screen, but I at the same time cannot process that this is actually happening, and like someone must have just like slipped that in. There's no way this is actually going on. But yeah, it's crazy.
Want to get your thoughts on this really female movement. I asked this question to a lot of great up and coming artists like yourself here on the show, and people like a Kirsty Krause or Lainey Wilson, Ashley McBride, Carly Pierce, your name included in this movement now. Pretty cool. And I'm going to say it was destined to happen, because a lot of this back in the 90s country, what I grew up with was, very male dominated back in the 90s and maybe early part of 2000s. I really am enjoying this female movement that we get to feature these great up and coming artists like yourself here on the show. What's your thoughts on this new kind of female movement and what they're doing for the industry right now?
I think it's incredible. I think that's half your audience, you know what I mean? Like, that's half of the mindsets and the stories and the experiences come from females. So I think it's really, really cool that the industry is finally enveloping us. Like, should have been going on for a long time, you know what I mean? I think it's just really, really special, and we're all, speaking on behalf of all the other women, like, just super grateful that this is finally happening. And I feel really lucky to come along in this time where it's already kind of been started, and I'm just grateful for people and the women who have paved the path before me to allow me to release music and it be received the way it is right now.
I'm seeing a lot of the collaboration too, back to those awards there with the CMA Fest. You see these things like Luke Combs and Vince Gill, and you kind of look over and you come back from the break and you're like, man, that's pretty cool. Never thought I'd see a Miranda Lambert with an Avril Lavigne. And for you, how important is that term and that word? Because I know in the music industry, very important to have collaboration in what you guys do.
Yeah, I mean, from everything from songwriting to creating a song to producing it out, releasing it. There's the whole process is collaboration. A lot of people are just seeing that end result of the actual performance or the live show or the record or whatever it is, but you don't understand like the entire process. 99.9% of the time starts with a collaborative process of a mindset or a concept or a song or whatever that is, and the whole thing is collaborative. So that's what country music's built on. It's storytelling. It's storytelling through whether it's the performance or producing the record or whatever it is. It's all collaborative. So it's not only just important. I think it's just everything.
Yeah, we're seeing more and more of it now in the industry too. I remember it was June of last year. If my dates are correct, I could be off. I think it was June 3rd to be exact here. That's how close we get here on the show when we talk about the EPs coming out. Every Girl hit me, kind of struck the scene. That song on there was called Slow Down. It really led off the record very well. We talked a little bit about Happy in This Bar and one called Nothing Left. But the CP did a lot of cool things for you to kind of build on the success that you already had. Talk about some of the highlights a little bit off of this one too. And another great song called Are You Okay?
Yeah. Are You Okay was actually the last song written on that EP. So my kind of process, it just helps my brain. This is the way it works for me. I love to come up with a strong concept around what a project's going to be about. So whether that's an EP or my debut album eventually, or if it's a set of singles, I love to come up with a strong concept of what is this going to be, what story am I telling through releasing this. So Every Girl was just, it's exactly what it is. It's every girl I've been in the past, these kind of like 5 highlight moments that have shaped me into the person I am, whether it's sad or whether it's happy or a mindset I've learned that has helped me a lot. Slow Down was kind of this like reminder of, yeah, the world's going to keep going on. People are always going to think you're moving too fast or too slow for where you need to be at, but like, I just need to hurry up and slow down. That's the whole point. That was one of my favorites actually on the record, but Are You Okay, getting back to that, was the last song written. I had the 4 others, and I knew there was something missing where it was kind of this like girl in the mirror moment of looking at yourself and writing some kind of letter, or I wasn't sure exactly the format yet, but I knew that the title was going to be called Are You Okay? And just like a self-check-in, self-love, reflective moment, because that's something that definitely has shaped me. Is just that kind of like journal-y, therapy, whatever process. And just songwriting in general, that's kind of what that is. So I wrote this sounding like you're talking to one of your best friends or like a sister or something that someone you would just care to check in on enough, but it's actually a letter I wrote to myself, just kind of like a, hey, I know you're quick to check on everyone before you'll check on you, so this is, I just need to ask you if you're okay. How are you really doing?
To self-analyze a little bit and ask that person.
How are you actually doing?
Yeah, I like that too. Actually, nobody's ever put it in those kind of layman terms right there, and kind of wrote a letter to themselves and talked about it kind of that former fashion a little bit. One I thought was fantastic last December, and I said, next time we get her on, we've got to ask about this one because it was just one of those. It motivated me, and then of course I talk to people about music all the time. That's what we do here on this program. And this one called Moment came out last December, and oh my God, this was goosebumps, chill bumps, whatever you want to call it. And looking back on it, I could see like top 10 radio easily. And this one really created a lot of cool momentum even now going forward. This is still one of the hot fan favorites out there.
Thank you so much. Yeah. This one I actually wrote about, I wrote it about just always being lost in the future planning and the worrying about tomorrow. And I'm like a constant head case. I'm always anxious about what's coming and what, the next 3 days are going to look like, or the next 5 years, or the next 15. Like, what am I doing with my life? Like, panic. And it's just that centering. It's that, like, reminder of, like, we only get right now. And it's become this really cool show moment, too, live, because I'm kind of able to encourage whoever's listening, just, like, hey, reminder, like, I don't know what's going on in your life. I don't know if you're rushing back to get your nanny relieved from watching your kids. I don't know if you're, like, just hanging out with some friends tonight. I don't know if you're here with your husband. I don't know what's going on in your life, but, like, you are here with the people you're here with. You get this moment one time. That's all you got. Let's put our phones down for a second. Let's just soak it in. It's not about me and you guys watching me. It's about, like, you enjoying the people you're with. And if you're not with anyone, I'm here with you. Like, let's just, like, soak in the fact that we are alive and we're human and we're on this earth right now. And this is the only time we get this, and we'll never have this exact moment back.
It definitely made me pause in my tracks and go, yeah, it's as busy as we get. And now, being a first-time dad, raising a 3.5-year-old and going back through all that, it's kind of like it's you enjoy the time. Like she's walking outside this morning. I had to tell you that story since we had her 2020, and now she's 3.5. And I went, man, that went by fast. And I was like, holy crap,
Yeah.
where did time go? So I'm like playing your song, and she looks, Daddy. She says, Moment. And I went, ooh, okay. I was like, oh, she actually, because she's listening to a lot of different country songs now, and the artists, and of course, who Dad has coming up on the program. And she said your first name, and looked back at it. She said Moment, and I said, yeah. And I just thought to watch her walk to the car and hearing your song kind of play on my phone, just kind of looking back, streaming it. I went, that's what Hallie's talking about right there. So that's when I asked her
So
about this,
cool.
because it's just like she's wearing her little cute shorts and a little cute little dress she's got on for like pre-K, whatever, school, whatever. And she's kind of walking to the truck, and then she'll say, Daddy, pick me up so I can get in. I'm like, again, don't take those things for granted, because the moments, that's just what it's about.
Everything. That's absolutely everything. Oh my gosh, that's the whole reason behind any of it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like those things right there. That's so beautiful. Dang, thank you for telling me that.
No, I love
Wow.
it too. I love to share stories with the tunes, no doubt too. We'll take
Yeah.
our final time out. We're going to talk about the one that cuts deep with a knife too, and then some in a good way. God Only Knows was released in March of this year. Really set the tone for the single Like Her, which we talked about at the beginning of the program too. You can go stream Like Her across all the platforms, and we'll come back, talk about the tour schedule, do a little bit of rapid fire, and set up tomorrow's program and next week here on the Backstage Pass, powered by the Sports Guys podcast.com. Football next week. We start that for 10, 12 weeks there too. A lot of sports coverage on CajunCountryRadio.com, and of course our friends over there too at Bangtail Whiskey and Honky Tonk Texas. You can check us out at HighTideCountry.net if you miss a show, and we're live on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook out there too, which is every day, 5 days a week out there, I guess, except for yesterday we took the day off, which is good out there too. More with Halle Kearns here on the Backstage Pass. Stay tuned. Go behind the scenes with some of the biggest artists in music today with the Backstage Pass, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. Join Brandon Morrill and his co-host Kirsty Krause as they talk to rising stars and legends about their music careers. Listen to their latest tracks and learn fun facts about the men and women behind the music you love. And be sure to tune into the Backstage Pass Monday through Friday from 3:30 to 6:30, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. And welcome into the Backstage Pass.
The Bangtail pour is comprised of a sweet corn mash base. The front has a subtle sweetness and not too sharp. It has notes of a medium char or white oak for a smoky flavor in the middle, and the tail has a super smooth and warm finish.
And back here on the show, final segment coming up here with Halle Kearns on the Backstage Pass, live on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook out there too. Give us a like on all the socials out there too, and check out HalleKearns.com, presented by our friends over at Bangtail Whiskey and Honky Tonk Texas. And check us out if you ever miss a show at the SportsGuysPodcast.com and HighTideCountry.net. So this one back in March, I mentioned there, kind of teased where I went to break. I believe it was March 31st. This came out. God Only Knows. And this really, I said, cut deep with a knife too, because honestly, you're speaking and you're preaching, no doubt, when you sing this one too, because that is a fact of life.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, not only I talk a lot about relationships in it, and that's kind of the premise of it is God only knows like who my person is and what he's doing and what you're up to, and it's just kind of a letter to your future person of just like, I don't know what God has in store for me, but I know you're out there and I know you're doing your thing, and I can't wait to see what I get to know and what he knows. But it goes for everything. I mean, I feel that way about my career. I feel that way about my home life. Like, there's so many things I'm like, I don't know, but my faith is super, super important to me, and I know that like God has the answers, and he's looking out for me, and he's gotten me this far. He's going to take care of the rest. And again, it's that anxious mindset in me kind of being pulled back and just surrendered again.
Let's talk about projections coming up now. I mean, you're, like I said, right now the music is as good as it's ever been. The single Like Her comes out. Now, what's kind of forecast ahead now as far as what you can tell us? I know there's got to be a debut album coming up real soon.
Yes. So I don't have exact details for you on anything, but all I know, I am in the studio. I'm writing like crazy, and I don't ever say this, so I'm saying with honesty, I'm writing my favorite songs I've ever written. I'm super, super proud of the co-writers I have and the songs that have been coming to me and stuff. I'm really, really excited about it, and I feel like I'm kind of coming into the artist that I really want to be, and there's going to be a lot of new fun and good music coming out soon.
I wanted to get out of the
I wish I
bank.
could give you a date. I wish I
No,
had a date, but
You had a
that's
date.
it.
It's all good. I'm not looking for an exclusive here. I just definitely want to
Oh,
put
I
out
would
the
give it
best,
to you in a heartbeat. I promise you. I
the
just
best
love it.
artists out there. You're at the top of the category right now too, and I
Thank
cannot
you.
wait for
Thank
this
you,
new
thank
music to
you.
come out, because next time we're
Wow.
gonna have you do a little takeover on here and sing a little bit for us.
Yes.
Play a little bit here.
Let's go.
on-
I
on
love
the show.
that.
I love that.
Absolutely
We'll
love that.
arrange that too as well. You actually had another one of my favorites I got to do, where we're talking about Happy in this bar too. I got to check out because I rarely get a chance to check them out. So, but when I do, it's really cool to see what the work that you guys put into this and the crew you hired to shoot it. The music
Yeah.
video for Happy in this bar had to be a lot of fun to make. Tell us all about just going out there and just having a blast with this song and your crew to make this music video.
It was so great. So Alexa Campbell and Dylan Rucker. Dylan Rucker's from my hometown, which is super cool. I met him in Columbia, Missouri, and then Alexa Campbell goes to my church. So like I already kind of had my like camera crew down. I love them both. It was comfy already, and then I had a whole sort of set of extras, and they were all some of my closest friends that I have here in Nashville, and that was awesome. I'm just like acting for my first time alongside of, if you can call it that, alongside of a bunch of really, really close, amazing friends and people. So it was great. I mean, they got to kind of teach me a lot about how that stuff works, and Alexa's a super great encourager about, how to really get into that music, not only with my voice and my songwriting, but like with my body and my face and everything. Like I got to really tell the story from how it felt being in those situations, but in real life on camera, which is really, really cool.
Yeah, and people say, acting or whatever it is too, but you're actually, again, putting out that true story of what is out there too, what the song is supposed to mean, and you did a very good job in
reenact, I guess.
Reenact, there you go, that's the word for it too.
Well, I've already been there.
Yeah, some cool shows coming up too. It looks like you're pretty close to Columbia up there too. James, Missouri, September 8th, the Grape and Fall Festival. Wish I could be there for St. James, Missouri. And then 24th of September, right around the corner here, Beach Life Festival in Redondo Beach, California. That's going to be fun. And then September 30th, Treeline Music Fest in Columbia. So some home shows coming up there, or close to, I guess, Columbia too. And I know you feel like, and I felt it too when we did the coverage of CMA Fest, you just belong on stage. You're just a natural.
Thank
you have that
you.
talent, and we've seen what we need to see to. The only thing is I've got to get to the live show to do it in person. I just went off the video what Kirsty gave me, but at the same time, and I asked this question too, a lot of people get into it knowing that, I guess you're either born with stage presence or you're not, and maybe it takes a while to learn that. For you, did that always kind of come natural, being on stage and performing?
Yeah, I just was always made for, I'm just kidding. No, not at all. I have the worst stage fright ever, actually. Still to this day, not at all, like, but here's the thing, like, you get past you get that adrenaline rush, and it's terrifying, and I'm literally like vibrating. Like, if you watch my hands closely, I'm giving myself away here, but like first couple songs, I'm literally vibrating. Like, I get so nervous before a show, but give it 10 minutes, settle in. No one's out there to scrutinize. You're just having fun. There's no place I feel greater joy than like being on stage and just getting to talk to people, sing with people, dance around with people. Like, it's so much fun. But I definitely am not a natural as far as like from when I was born. It takes a lot of repetition and a lot of kind of getting over your own mental states, 'cause it's not a natural thing. I don't know a lot of people that are like, yep, I was just born to be on stage. I'm like, I love it, I admire it. I can never understand it. It's a trained thing, I think, for me. For sure.
I guess unless you're and I guess and I've seen him just that one time at a concert, but George Strait, you just get up there in front of a mic and then you can't let go of the mic. It's just
yeah, there is something addicting too about once you're in it, but the actual just like, I want to be on stage, I want to be in front of people. I love that. It took a lot of work for me to get to now. I'm a little excited too.
No doubt. Looking forward to the next time those shows. Again, you guys can find ticket information and, of course, all the shows I talked about, and then some too, at hallekearns.com. Hey, let's have a little fun with the rapid fire, because I love doing this too. So the last time on the road, when you kind of stopped off, what was that craving? What was the food craving? What was the number one thing you had to get, either kind of away from home or maybe around Nashville there? What was that favorite road food, or not being home food you had to go get?
This is awful. Like, this is awful. But we've played a couple county fairs lately, and county fair corn dogs are really great.
sorry.
You gotta do what you gotta do when you're on the road, and
Yeah.
I'm like, if it's between this and Taco Bell, like I'm going
Mhm.
for a corn dog. So that's
Yes.
what we've been eating too many of those lately,
And
which
they're
is
good.
awful. But
Yes,
I mean, it's fine. They're great.
And I tell people they're a lot better than Sonic too. All the dollar corn dogs at
Yes,
Sonic too. That you
yes.
can get up there to the county fair.
Yeah.
Corn dogs are addicting to. Of course, that's fried food anyway. You cut
Yeah,
it through too.
exactly. Fried Oreo, whatever. Just fried.
Yeah,
It's
no
great.
doubt. In your fun time, I guess the fun time. Again, let's step away from music and talk about other hobbies and things that you like to do for Halle Kearns, for yourself, or maybe self-soothe away from music. What do you like to do?
This is always one of my hardest questions, because a lot of my life is wrapped up in music, and there's not a lot of time right now, especially on these these early years. It's most of my time does go towards music and stuff. But whenever I do have some time off, I immediately will fill it with just getting to see my friends, getting to see my girls that I love so much and I miss so much all the time. It's always that. So whatever we're doing together, I'm happy. I don't care if we're outside. I don't care if we're
Mhm.
sitting in my house. Like, it doesn't matter. I just wanna see my people.
Hey, as we all, especially now, for all we went through too, we're that social gathering and having people come together. It's definitely more important now, and it's just great to see the shows have been opened back up for a while now too. And it's kind of like I said, just the cattle run through that gate, man. You just fans just getting in there and having a good time and drinking, enjoying it, singing songs back to their favorite artists. It's just really cool there too. All right, first song ever to sing live on stage for Halle Kearns. What was it?
Oh, I think it was "Leave the Pieces" by the Wreckers.
Oh man, see that's a classic. Can't go wrong with that one too.
I think that was my first one. It was at a Young Life camp. They had an open mic night. I'm pretty sure that was my first song I ever sang.
I love that too. All right, toppings on pizza. I know I got the chance to check out some of the dive spots Kirsty and I did. Forget the pizza place she took me to. Can't remember what it was. The last two CRS coverages that we've done up there too. But your favorite pizza place? What toppings do you like on your pizza?
In Nashville, I love DeSano's
Okay.
pizza, but I'm a pepperoni pineapple gal. I know that's a pretty polarizing topping, but I love pineapple pizza.
I can do the Hawaiian to an extent, depending on where it comes from, and then. If it went to, like I said, like DeSano's in Nashville, you could probably end up doing a little bit of Hawaiian there too. For me, it was like all the meats and just try to pile it all in there and just have a good time with it too. I love doing this one from time to time. Last show or shows to binge watch a series, a movie. What'd you get into?
Oh, I just watched both of the Enola Holmes movies on Netflix.
Okay, I've not seen
recently.
those.
They're so good. It's Millie Bobby Brown. She's so great.
I got to reactivate Netflix again. That's why I've not seen
time.
that.
Yep.
It's a lot of cool things have been on there too. Favorite cartoon for Halle growing up?
Ooh, cartoon.
Or plural cartoons, multiple.
I'm trying to think. Little girl. I loved Winnie the Pooh and I loved Barney. Those were my two when I was super young. Then I watched a lot of Disney Channel whenever I was preteen, 10-ish years. Yeah.
That's what mine's into now is all the things she's loving. Cocoa, which is kind of on the whatever the flavor of the month is, kind of like her ice cream. She's just back and forth on things. Cocoa's the hot thing right now. And,
is that the movie? Coco the movie?
Yeah, the movie on Disney
great,
Plus. She's always Disney Plus something. Brave was another one she got on too.
Good one. Okay.
Singing songs back to her, which is a good one too. And I'm trying to remember there's one more she got into lately from the Disney side of things, and I can't remember its offhand. It may hit me here in just a second too, but she's all over the place. It started with like the Frozen thing, went through that phase. The Toy Story went through that phase, where all things usually start. And then of course it hopped around a few places too, but this latest one has been the Brave kick, and definitely the Coco kick, the movie, which is her thing.
A great movie. She's got good
taste,
for sure.
It breaks out the
so
best.
Good, yeah.
And now, guess what Daddy's got to get her? She wants a guitar.
Naturally.
She wants a guitar.
Naturally. The little skulls on it.
Yeah, she wants a guitar. But here's the thing: we've talked about it, wife and I. She can't stop sucking the thumb, so we say,
absolutely,
we say you got to stop sucking the thumb to get the guitar because you can't play the guitar sucking the thumb. So she gets it quickly out of her. I love it too.
The bargaining, it's always a bargaining.
Yes, is the bargaining chip, no doubt too. I love this music out here. She is one of our show favorites. Like hers across all the digital platforms out there to stream, and make sure you guys take care of that and get those streams up to several more million for one of the best out there in country music. And some of those tour dates can be found at hallekearns.com. Hey, you're always welcome back here on the platform, Kirsty. I love you. And definitely when the full-length album comes out, feel free to come back. And thanks for always spending some time with us.
Thank you for having me. Seriously, y'all have been amazing.
She's amazing too, no doubt.
Thank you. Yeah,
and I love the background right there too. The comfort of your home. You got to love podcasting here at its best on the Backstage Pass. Thanks to our sponsors, Banktail Whiskey, and our friends over at Honky Tonk Texas. We're back tomorrow. Fantastic group. The South Austin Moonlighters coming here on the program too, full band. We'll get to talk to them in different cities, which is really cool with all the streaming stuff out there. And of course, next week, some great shows. Ricochet, Heath Wright, the longest running member since 1993. They put out a new album tomorrow. Randall King's got a couple of songs coming out tomorrow too as well. And for New Music Friday, we'll probably critique a lot of songs that get sent to us that come out here on the Backstage Pass. Again, hightidecountry.net and powered by the Sports Guys podcast.com. A week away from the start of covering high school football for my, 20th season now for the sports side of things. Hard to believe how time flies. Go check her out at hallekearns.com and go download like her on the Backstage Pass out there. We'll see you guys tomorrow at 4 with the South Austin Moonlighters. Until then, take care. Have a great night.